All right, everybody. Tough situation here. Tough situation. Kirby's dealing with the tornado warning, so we are just going to go with the old DSC logo. The DSC logo. We need another deep drive, so maybe we can put that into the universe. So shout out to Deep South Commodities. They're going to be the co-host here until maybe Nick Kirby comes back. Might not be able to. We'll see. He's dealing with the tornado warning. Got the kids in the basement, so hopefully Nick is safe and all is well. See if he can't come back, boys. This is a little demoralizing would be the wrong term to use, but it's the only word that comes to mind. Maybe demoralizing is too strong of a word, but that's how I feel. Again, trying to keep up here. Got a lot of windows open. Chat, I love you. I'm going to put you away because you know how it goes. You're probably way ahead of me because I'm on the Telegram. Just, we'll wait for the show a little bit. I'm going to watch this top of the inning. Maybe we can rally. Maybe we can find some magic. Certainly feels like we used up all the magic we possibly could ever muster up the last inning, but who knows? Who knows? Got some good guys coming up. Maybe we get lucky here. It's a good take by Ellie. The thing that's crazy is I know that I'm like way behind you, so we either had something awesome happen or something bad happen. And that's what I'm thinking about at all times. Got some coffee here. Shout out moms. So, good battle in Ellie. Oh, man. Where do you go? What do you do? Do you stay optimistic? Do you stay positive? Or are you just mad at the world because you felt like you had a chance to really have a humongous momentum-swinging baseball game that went your way? Golly, man. I mean, you just got to save some of this for the show. Because ultimately, I'm soloing this guy at least until I find out otherwise. So I don't want to spew all of my thoughts, but game's not over. Can't run the clock out in baseball. It's the best thing about the sport. Can't run the clock out. Got to pitch to him. Got to get all 27 outs. Sometimes it takes more than 27 outs. And let's be honest as well, Arizona gifted us some stuff here. Arizona more than gifted us some stuff. So, that's outside, Buckner, you piece of shit. I mean, come on, man. It's a 2 inches off the plate in a meaningful moment, and you're right there. You're right there. See it, you piece of shit. That's off the plate, man. I mean, it's well off the plate. Golly, yeah, fucking loser. Dude's been a loser for a while too. I think you get rid of some of these old hags that have been fucking major league umpires for way too long. This isn't a kid show. This is late night, 12:19. Should have gave the parental warning before I started, but I'm not about it. I'm staying up late at night. Got to host a show in the morning. Watch just seeing everything I happen, and that's what CB Buckner decides to do to my leadoff hitter. By the way, the fastest man in the baseball. Let's not act like that's not a big deal. Fastest man in baseball. Golly, man. More and more I watch these old clowns in here and just butcher calls. It makes me want more and more. Let's just get it right. Get the frickin' guy goes 3-0. Oh, my gosh. He was battling. Great at bat. And that's what you do. Call a pitch 2 inches off the plate. Horrible. Bull 4, too. Golly day. Golly, Nick Senzel. I mean, I hate to be mean, but there's just no way there's lightning in a bottle twice here. Oh, man, we used up all the bullets already. Come on, Senzel. Prove me wrong, big dog. Get lucky again. Hit one in the gap. Damn, he had him, too. Did you see that? Steer had it. Steer timed it up perfectly and just decided not to go. It's a risky play. You can't. definitely messed up the Sewald there. Let's be smart, though. I don't really want to run ourselves out of this inning, please. Please. We can wait till the next hitter to try to steal a bag. If Senzel hits into a double play, I'll say sorry. I'll say sorry if Senzel hits into a double play, but I'm not trying to take this bag unless I feel like I 100% can get there. I don't know what this guy's time to the plate is, but it better be. It is slow. Okay. Ooh. Nope. That call by Buckner, dude. I mean, I just can't get over it. I can't get over it, man. I just can't get over that call. That's just so bad. Good job, Nick. Nick's had a good at bat, man. These are good at bats. We've had great at bats this ninth inning. Come on. Steer's going on the move here. Yeah, now we're stealing. We're taking our chances. You hit into a line into a double play, whatever. You live with it. We're running right here. We're running right here. Stay in the zone, Nick. Stay in the zone. We're swinging at strikes. Come on. Swinging at strikes, Nick. All right. There we go. That's dead nut center 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Not ideal if you're Sewald. I don't know if that's the pitch you're looking for. Nick think he broke his bat? We running again? It's hard to run 2 times in a row. You get a little tired out there. You running again? Shit. Just got underneath it. God, he hit that a mile high, too. I mean, we're talking millimeters from that thing probably being a home run. That's the way baseball goes, though. Kudos to Sewald right there. He threw strikes, man. Two back-to-back pitches. He could have walked him through strikes. Let him hit him. We need this guy to hit some balls over the fence eventually. I mean, obviously, I'm begging right now. Begging for one right now, but, hey, I was calling for this guy to come up earlier in this year when he was absolutely out of his mind. We waited. I'm not saying we waited too long, but, guy was playing out of his mind earlier this year. You can say it was AAA pitching, whatever. I don't care. He's playing out of his mind. We need to get that going just a little bit. Just a little bit. Dude, CES. Have a plan at the plate, though. You know what I'm saying? Have a plan at the plate. What are we looking for? It's 0-0, and we're swinging at a slider that's literally dotted on the outside bottom half of the corner. Like, are we swinging automatically? Is that what we're doing? We're just 100%. I see it coming. I'm going to swing. I mean, that pitch is outside, low and away, sliding away from you, and you swing at. We need to try to steal second base here. I hate to say that, but I'd live with that now. I mean, I'd live with it. If he gets thrown out at second, he gets thrown out at second. I get everyone's going to say, well, CES could hit one over the fence. He can. He can. I understand, but this guy is taking forever to get to the plate. That's also a big league play by their catcher, something that shouldn't go unnoticed. Nope, that's high. Don't even think about it, CB. I'll go absolutely ballistic. Chat, I'd love to be a part of you right now. I miss you. I miss you mightily, but I can't do it. I just can't do it. Come on, CES. That's a ball. All right, let's have a plan here. One pitch, one spot. One pitch, one spot. We're not swinging unless it's a fastball middle in, right? Can we have that as a plan? Can we have that as a plan, please? Now you can't steal. Not stealing now, obviously. Man, I'll be honest with you. When that left his hand, it was a middle fastball up. Just, we got rookies, man. CES is a little, nervous. I don't know what term you want to use, but Stay in the zone, Christian. Stay in the zone. Stay in the strike zone. Oh, he's playing with fire. This dude's playing with fire, man. Fastballs up is not the place you think you want to try to pitch CES. I mean, you throw that slider that starts down the middle, dives outside, game's over. I hate to say that. I think the game's over. If he throws a slider that starts down the middle and it starts, cutting outside, game's over. He's going to swing at it. And it's the game. Keep throwing them fastballs up, though. I'll take them. I mean, he might not get it, but I'll take the chance. What the You're in your head. You're in your head. You're in your head. You're in your head. Go compete, man. Just compete. Compete. Have fun. Play the baseball game. I know I'm saying it making it sound easier than it is, but my God. I mean, that's a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, guys. Right down the middle. All right. Let's do a show. All right. If we're going to be honest, that one hurts. That one hurts. Reds lose 3-2. We'll get to the box score recap in just a second, but I just want to say that one hurts. There are games in which are momentum swinging games. I think that, quite frankly, tonight I've really felt this in my heart. I did have a gut feeling there was a chance we weren't going to hold on to that lead once we got it, just because this bullpen has been so damn good for so long that you just expect at some point they weren't going to answer the bell. And really, it was one guy. It was Alex Young, so I don't want to make too much of it. I actually thought in my mind it was going to be Alexis Diaz, which we didn't even get a chance to see if that was going to be the case. I don't mean to put any ill will out there, but I thought, Alexis has been unbelievable this year. I thought maybe that was going to be the situation, but my God, did it not? It didn't even get a chance to get there. I'm trying to get up the box score recap here really quickly. Give me just a second here, folks. But I don't know where to start because I have a lot of thoughts about this baseball game. I have a lot of things that I think that we should be proud about, and I think there's some things that we should just be honest with ourselves about, and perhaps maybe we can all meet somewhere in the middle. But this is one where you felt like, again, stealing games is one of those things I keep bringing up, I keep talking about, but I feel like we should have stole this game. We should have stole this game. Let's be honest. The Diamondbacks did their very best to give it away. But that's here nor there. All right, let's do a box score recap. Bottom of the third with 2 on and 2 out. Tommy Pham called out on strikes. That was probably the first pivotal moment of the game, if you will, in my opinion. Brandon Williamson got out of a jam. Good for Brandon Williamson. We'll get into him in just a minute. He's been unbelievable. Bottom of the 6th, Christian Walker strikes out swinging, making it 1 out. And again, I'm relying here heavily on the quite frankly, the MLB recap here. So I don't know why in the hell that is considered a key moment, but that's here nor there. That's what they have. The biggest moment in the game, let's be honest, was the bases loaded situation, nobody out, and for lack of a better term, the Diamondbacks absolutely botched this. They botched it. For those that didn't watch the game, there was basically a base hit to right field, and for whatever reason, and by a base hit, I'm talking about a ball that bounced off the wall. I mean, it looked like an easy double. Ball bounces off the wall. Will Benson gets it cleanly. To be fair to Will, he got it in cleanly. And for whatever reason, the third base coach decided he was going to hold up the guy at third base, so only allowing one run to score. The guy around in first base was heading to second, rightfully so, in my opinion. It looked like an easy double. But instead, you had two men caught out in no man's land. The guy at third base made a mistake and decided he was going to try to take home because he seen that they were in a little bit of a predicament. And sure enough, make the play at the plate. Guys out, left with first and second with one out, and you only end up giving up one run in that inning. And you felt like a situation to where that might have been a pivotal moment, and it was a pivotal moment because in the top of the eighth, Nick Senzel with the biggest home run of his career. Maybe that's a strong word to say, but I'll tell you right now, if the Reds were able to hold on to win, you can say whatever you want. From a momentum swinging standpoint, from a meaningful baseball standpoint, I thought that was Nick Senzel's moment. And quite frankly, that gave the Reds just a tie. It was just a tie, 1-1 at the time. And then, sure enough, the guy that obviously we've been saying he's got to get it going for this Reds team to have a chance, Tyler Stevenson. You got to give him credit. Big two-out hit, scores Noelvi Marte, and that gave the Reds a 2-1 lead. And then in the bottom of the eighth, sure enough, man, bottom of the eighth. Let me just tell you exactly what happened in the bottom of the eighth because I think you deserve to know. I know many people that watch this game, they probably don't want to hear it, but here we go. You ready for it? Alex Young replaces Buck Farmer. Walk. A walk. And then you bring in a guy that's left-handed, probably to face Corbin Burns. Or not Corbin Burns, I'm an idiot. Corbin Carroll. Probably to face Corbin Carroll. He had one, I don't say he had one job, but it felt like he had one job, right? One job. Walks a guy. And then, you know what? I said this on the tweet. I still mean it. Don't come at me with this, he made one bad pitch and he faced a guy in Corbin Carroll who's going to be the NL Rookie of the Year. And Corbin Carroll just made a great play, and you can't do nothing about it. He was terrible. He was terrible. Alex Young made multiple horrible pitches in that at-bat. Now, I'll give Carroll credit. Drove the ball out of the ballpark, and to be fair, that's a big-time play by him. It's a big-time play by him. And I'm not going to get into this whole analytical debate of all the things. Sometimes guys have to make plays. But I will say this. I think in big-time moments and big-time games, you can throw analytics out the window to a certain extent. Some guys can be a gamer and game up, make good pitches in big moments, and some guys can't. Alex Young, I don't know if he's that guy. And I know it's easy to say tonight. I'm just saying in general terms. Alex Young, when he comes into the game, I don't know. I'm not saying he doesn't have any chance in hell to helping us for the rest of the year, but of all the guys, Alex Young's one of the few guys that I would say I'm not sure about. Perhaps I'm scarred because of the situation when he came in with the bases loaded against the Yankees, and Anthony Rizzo decided he was going to hit an absolute tank job off of Alex Young too. This isn't the first time he's given up a big time home run in a game. But here we are. So let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. First thing was on the rundown, it's coming. And the reason I said it's coming is because this bullpen has been so good for so long, you knew at some point they were going to blow a lead and or blow a save. I thought tonight there was a chance that maybe you're going to blow a save, like I said, with Alexis Diaz, and I don't mean to bring that negative energy into this chat and into the universe. But at some point, we all know it's 162 games. This is going to happen. Now, I would venture to say that tonight maybe it hurts a little bit more, but in general terms, this was going to happen. We got it out of the way. I'm not suggesting that it can't happen again now, but in all honesty, we have to give a little bit of grace to this bullpen. A little bit of grace. And the sad thing is, it's really only one guy. That's the thing that stinks. It's only one guy. Alex Young didn't do his job tonight. And to be fair to Alex, like I said before, has he been horrendous this year? No. But again, we had 6 outs to get. We got 6 outs to get. If you're telling me we only got 6 outs to get and we had all the guys in the bullpen that perhaps we had available to us, I don't know if Alex Young's the guy. I know why he got brought in. He got brought in because of analytics. I'm not going to sit here and say that that's a horrible decision one way or the other, because ultimately you don't know what would have happened if you bring in some other guys. Sims has had some trouble throwing strikes, so I can't sit here and say that he's been nails. But, man. Good for Corbin Carroll, though. I mean, good for Corbin Carroll. He hadn't hit a home run in forever. He was due. Had a good game. 2 for 4, home run. What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? Let's jump into Brandon Williamson, because I think that's probably the spot that I want to try to lean into here a little bit. I keep seeing, here's the thing about me that I don't always love. I like to see the guys that do it. I like to see the guys that do it. When the lights get bright, some guys get better. They do. That's how it goes. Brandon Williamson's been that guy. He's gotten better. He's gotten more comfortable. He's made good start after good start after good start. And everybody wants to sit here and act like this is a fluke. You can keep acting like it's a fluke. And maybe, you know what? Maybe he wears off. Maybe you can say that perhaps, this is just a flash in the pan. And I'm not going to sit here and scream and say that it's not a flash in the pan. But I'm going to tell you right now that, in all honesty, I think Brandon Williamson is starting to look like a guy going into next year that you're going to rely on. You're going to rely on. And you might tell me that, you might sit here and tell me that there's too many guys that are going to probably be in the starting rotation next year, and Brandon Williamson is on the outside looking in. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. I see people on the X app and things like that. I mean, we're talking about Connor Phillips. We're talking about Rhett Lauder. I mean, we're talking about guys that literally haven't thrown one pitch in Major League Baseball. I get why you might think that, but I'm just saying, they haven't thrown one pitch in Major League Baseball, and we're automatically assuming they're going to be better than him. I'm not so sure that Nick Lodolo is going to come back and be a guy. So before we sit here and start casting stones about a guy that's actually done it in the big leagues, let's just pump the brakes a little bit. He might be better than you think. He looks better than you think. I can tell you that. I think Brandon Williamson is actually, if you just take away all the metrics and again, you can sit here and say the analytical portion of Brandon Williamson, maybe he's not great. He's walked a bunch of guys in AAA. He's walked a bunch of guys in his minor league career, this, that, and the other. But I'll tell you this, right now in his major league career, he looks like he's nails. He looks like a guy, when he takes the ball, he's ready to go. He's a competitor. He's got a little Graham Ashcraft in him, if you want my opinion. And again, maybe it's a flash in the pan. Maybe Trace, you're overreacting. I don't believe I am. I don't believe I am. And you might sit here and say that, that's just unrealistic to expect a guy that had a 7 ERA in the minors to come up here and continue to throw like this, that, and the other. I'm just telling you, some guys are built different. When they get up to the bright lights and the game, again, the game gets magnified, they are at their best, and some guys aren't. A la Alex Young. I already spoke a little bit about the bullpen. I think we just got to move on, guys. I think we got to move on. I know it's frustrating. I know we're all pissed off right now to a certain extent. I'm going to say something right now that you might not agree with, that you might not love. The whole David Bell thing right now in the chat, I don't get it, guys. I really don't get it. I'm all about criticizing David Bell when he does something that we should criticize him for. But you can't be the boy who cried wolf here with David Bell. Well, what? I mean, yeah, you want to sit here and say, he brought in Alex Young, this, that, and the other. Alex Young needs to make some damn pitches. How about we get on him? Quit worrying about David Bell. Make a pitch. Make a pitch. You threw like 3 balls right down the damn middle. Horrible. It was disgusting. In fact, he got away with the pitch right before that. He hung a breaking ball to Corbin Carroll. Corbin Carroll just missed it, fouled it back, and even the broadcaster said, "Ooh, Corbin Carroll just missed that one. That was a bad pitch." What'd he do 2 pitches later? He threw another one. Is that David Bell's fault? I guess, he can't. Every single time he comes in, it's somebody else's fault. Oh, by the way, how many runs did the Reds score? 2 runs? We scored 2 runs. How many hits do we have? I think we had 3 hits. We're sitting here screaming about David Bell. We had 3 hits. That's a problem. I've been telling you for weeks upon weeks upon weeks, we have a major problem. And you can sit here and say that they're all young and all that, and it's all good and well. And it is. To a certain extent, it is. I'm not overreacting from a franchise standpoint. I'm not overreacting because I think that we're all doomed and these guys aren't any good, this, that, and the other. But to sit here and genuinely look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, this team should 100% make the postseason, which I don't know how many people are saying that. But my point to those people that are screaming and yelling about David Bell and we got to do a better job and Alex Young shouldn't come in. Let me tell you something. If this offense can't have better at bats, and you know what, you can say whatever you want in general about what's going on before. Okay, you can say whatever you want in general about what's going on before in regards to, I guess, what David Bell's done, bringing guys in out of the bullpen, not bullpen. This offense has to be better. If they're not better, forget it. The NL wild card here, Kirby's put up on the screen, trying to run graphics remotely. This isn't the smoothest and easiest thing to do in the world. But here's the thing. Phillies obviously have a 2.5 game lead above everybody else. They're going to hold the home field advantage in the wild card more than likely unless they get caught by the Cubs and or perhaps the Diamondbacks. Maybe the Reds have a run in them. But you can see it right there. Reds are still right there, okay? We're a half game back behind the Diamondbacks. We got 3 more games against them. No big deal. No big deal. I guess, to a certain extent, guys, is the season over? Of course it's not over. Of course it's not over. But I think we're in a position now where if we're not gonna at least be honest with ourselves and say that this offense has to be better, we have to get healthy. And again, you can call it whatever you want, but we need a spark. And these young guys, they are who they are. They're young. These are the dog days of the summer. This is the tough part of the season. They said at the beginning of the broadcast, a lot of these young rookies have never played baseball this long. They've never played baseball this long. Maybe it catches up to them. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But I think we got fooled, and I say we got fooled. That's not the right term to use. Again, I'm trying not to be pessimistic about it too much because, again, it's just one game. But at the same time, you look back at the Angels series, and they gifted us some opportunities too, right? I mean, they gifted us some opportunities. If they catch the ball cleanly in that series, are we talking about an offense that hasn't been able to score many runs at all? You start to think that's the case. You start to think that's the case. If somebody plays clean defensive baseball against us and they have a decent pitcher going, and I say decent, like just a good or above average pitcher right now, I don't know if we score more than 3 runs. I don't know if we score more than 3 runs. So, I get that maybe you can say I'm overreacting about this, but I've been saying for a month this offense they're not cutting it, and it's not been cut. So, it's a shame. The reason it hurts so much and the reason it's a shame is because the starting pitching has overperformed or exceeded our expectations. Do you remember not that long ago when everybody was just screaming and yelling about how this team needed to go get a starting pitching? It almost reminded me of it was almost deja vu with the beginning of the year when everybody was screaming and yelling and telling me that we need to go get a bullpen. And the starting pitching I could buy into a little bit more because that clearly seemed like an area of need, of obvious need. But starting pitching hasn't been the problem, and it's not been the problem since the All-Star break. I don't know how you fix this offense. I don't think you can fix it. I don't know. I'll be honest. I think you just got to live with it, and the results are what they are, and you just got to know that deep down in your soul of your soul, this team is young. This team's probably not supposed to be playing as well as they've been playing, and let's just see where it goes. Tonight hurts like a you-know-what. It hurts. But I wouldn't overreact in the sense of thinking that, that you shouldn't be proud and you shouldn't be excited about what the future holds, because I still think these guys are studs. Noelvi Marte looks like a guy. I get that he might not be producing at the level in which we'd all hope. CES is definitely not producing from a power standpoint the level we'd all hope, but they're getting great experience right now. And I know that seems like a terrible moral victory right this second, and it is. It feels disgusting. But that's the truth. Let's not lose sight of the truth, people. Let's not lose sight of the truth. All right, Votto to the IL. This is big. I'm not going to take any pride in telling everybody. If you just listen to me every so often, you might get somewhere. But What I honestly, and I'm not trying to speculate too heavily here, I honestly think this was an opportunity to give Votto a little bit of a break, let him try to get his mind right. Perhaps he had a little bit of an issue with the shoulder. I don't think he's hurt significantly. Now, I could be completely wrong, okay? I could be completely wrong. It's very speculative what I'm saying right now. Very, very speculative. For everybody that thinks that he's done for the rest of the year, I think that's crazy talk. I really do. I think this was a situation where he was struggling really, really bad. Mentally, he needed to get a little bit of a break. They couldn't afford him just sitting to get his break. They couldn't afford Joey Votto being on the active roster, taking a 2 and 3 games off. They just couldn't do that right now. So what do? You can say, Trace, that's not true. That's a lie, blah, blah, blah. I think it's roster manipulation at its finest. They've been doing it all year long. And again, if Major League Baseball allows you to do it, then so be it. But I think it's roster manipulation. And I think that Joey Votto decided that, you know what, we're going to go on the 10-day IL, see if we can't get some things right, see if we can't get back to our old self. And by old self, I mean just a little bit better than what he was before he started sliding. Not talking about the Joey Votto of old, because that's gone. That's gone. Been trying to tell everybody that's gone for a while. Maybe you see it now, maybe you don't. I don't know, but it's gone. If it is Joey Votto's last hurrah in a Reds uniform in regards to we've seen the end of it, that's a sad situation. I just can't imagine that. I'm going to refuse to believe that. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just a situation where, we're using an excuse of a little bit of a shoulder injury to get a break, a mental break. Trey Mancini was probably the reason. They probably had an understanding that this was going to happen. And sure enough, I'm assuming Trey Mancini is going to come in at some point and try to take some of what Joey Votto was, his role was, and see if he can't play a little bit better clip. But that's where we're at. He's 39 years old. I mean, I know it's hard for some people to believe, but this is it. This is it. I try telling us to enjoy it as long as we can. But this is the end of the road, which is sad as hell. I mean, the more I think about it, it's a tough pill to swallow, because he's basically been a Red my whole life that I've grown up watching the Reds, the best Red that I've ever seen. I love Joey Votto. I think he's been unbelievable for this franchise. The problem is that you can also be realistic in just saying that this is not a guy that's going to probably be beneficial towards a playoff run and be helpful all that much. And maybe he can get hot for a week or something along those lines, but I just don't expect that to happen. I don't expect it to happen. I think Nick is getting ready to be back in here, so thankfully Nick is not hurt from any tornadoes. So perhaps that's the best news of the night. Nick, thanks for coming in here. I know that unfortunately you had some weather situations. I'm sure that plus how this game ended was a little difficult. A little difficult. Before really quickly here, before you jump in, I do want to do one quick super chat. Dustin Croft said CES equals can't eat strikes. I don't know. I mean, listen, I get it, Dustin. I don't want to kill these young guys, Nick, because they're young. I think that if this team's supposed to, I guess I sound like a participation trophy guy right now, Nick. But the best way I can explain my thought process with all these young guys is I don't think in a million years they should be expected or ever expected to be hitting in as big of moments as they are right now. And if without them, we'd been toast long ago. So. It's I can't really get upset at the hand that feeds us. So you're safe though. You feeling good, Nick? Are you all right?
Yeah. I just clicked to log on, and all of a sudden I hear like both of our phones going with that big tornado sound. I was like, oh crap. Well, so yeah, I had to bring the kids down here because this is the basement, and it was like one of those, I guess, like really quickly tornado warnings because it was off in like 20 minutes, but whatever. Yeah, I didn't really get to see the end of this. I mean, I'm sure you covered it all. Look, Merrill Kelly is a really, really good pitcher. I mean, this is a guy probably not as household of a name as some other guys, but I mean, he's got an ERA just over 3 the last 2 years. I think this offense is going to struggle against really good pitching for the most part. These are young guys. These are guys that really good pitchers are able to expose some of their weaknesses as they're learning the game. So, But yeah, I mean, hey, it was nice to see Nick Senzel have that moment. Good for him. Just a shame. The only thing I would add about like kind of the bullpen conversation is I really wonder who was available tonight. The Reds, as we'll get to here in a minute with tomorrow's starters, they moved Brett Kennedy, who was supposed to start tomorrow, to the bullpen, and I'm assuming that's probably because they were like, oh crap, we don't have a lot of guys available. So that's why the whole Buck Farmer Alex Young, who was available. I have no idea who was available. I think there probably was several guys that weren't. That's maybe the biggest
Lucas Sims has to be available though, right?
Maybe, or maybe Diaz wasn't available, and so it's like I bet I'm only going to save Sims for the night. One of those things.
I know, but Diaz had to be available because ultimately he threw yesterday in a 5-run game because they were just trying to make sure that he had some, he stayed somewhat fresh. Like the Diaz was available, he had to be. And to be fair to your point, I guess you could say that he's hurt or something behind the scenes, and maybe David Bell has explained that. Here's where I'm at with it, Nick. I think we need to be careful. We need to be careful on where we go in a game where we have 3 hits and we start to make the main priority about who it is that we brought in out of the bullpen in the 8th inning. And he gave up a home run. I get it, and I guess that's a big storyline. I'm not naive to that, but Nick, we had 3 hits.
Yeah, I mean that's the story. That's it's Reds offense, young offense got dominated by a good pitcher. I mean, right. Really, you can get in the weeds about everything else, but you're right. I mean, that's the story of the game. Nick Senzel made it feel a little different because he hit a big hit. If that doesn't happen, it's all about the offense, and the whole bullpen moves don't even matter. So, yeah you're
Tyler Stevenson too. Shout out Tyler Stevenson.
Yeah, good for those guys. Reds, like it or not, need those 2 guys down the stretch. Maybe not every day, but they're going to need those guys in certain spots.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you took the blinders off, and by blinders, maybe that's not the right term to use, but if you were let's just say if you were a fan of another team, right, and you looked at this Reds team, I think you'd say they're cute. I think that's the term I would use. Like I'd be like, that this is a cute team. Like they got some young guys that are fun to watch. They're pretty good, but I wouldn't be scared of them. I'd be like, these guys they are what they are. They're not that. They're just not there yet. Got guys like Martini, got guys like Trey Mancini that you're getting ready to rely on. You got guys like Nick Senzel. You got guys like Tyler Stevenson. You got guys like Stuart Fairchild. You got guys like Henry Ramos hitting in big moments the past 2 weeks. Let's be honest with ourselves. Do we want to be honest with ourselves or not? I mean, that's that in and of itself. What I just said, what I just ran through, it's hard to sit here with a straight face and be like, yeah, the postseason is a failure if we don't get there. I mean, You just heard who I said. Are we close, Nick? I think we're close. I think we're very close. And the beautiful thing is, the reason we're close is because a bunch of young guys that are going to get better and better and better are going to be here for the next 3, 4, 5 years. That's the beautiful thing about all this. The pessimistic side is what I just said.
Yeah. And going to face some crappy pitching down the stretch, which I think is, we've said before, that's, I think, what's going to give the Reds a chance.
It's going to give them a chance. You're right.
You're not going to see Merrill Kelly's very often in September. Right. You're going to see,
But it does beg the question, like, what's the realistic, I don't know. I mean, this is where it's kind of hard to figure out what exactly it is that we're looking for. What do Red fans want? Like I mean, the obvious thing is to just keep winning and winning and winning. But it's like that's where I have like this strong this weird thing with me. It's like what do I want? Do I just want to make the postseason? Because I know this sounds crazy, and maybe I'm wrong about this. And tell me if I'm wrong, chat. If the Reds were to make the postseason, and they had an a la Atlanta Braves series moment where they go down there and right now they can't score for what kid show. They have a hard time scoring. If they go and they play 2 games where they get 2 runs and 1 run, Is that more of a monkey on the back than if it was just like they finished 3 games behind the wild card and they go into next season as like a fresh start? I know that seems crazy to say, but I guess I'm being kind of honest about it. It kind of feels like, I know people are gonna be like, "Are you kidding me? Are you suggesting that it's better to not make the postseason than to make the postseason?" I'm not doing that. I'm just kind of painting a picture of like, where's the end of the road here? Because I don't expect to have a whole lot of success in the postseason when you face really, really good arms, because that's what you're going to face.
I don't know how I would even respond if the Reds make the postseason and don't perform well and people lose their minds after like the initial shock of it. Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
But hey, the one thing this team does have, you watch a game like tonight and you're like, yeah, how would this team win a playoff series with this offense right now? The one thing they do have though is if they get good pitching, which they have guys that are definitely capable of good pitching, the Reds can manufacture some runs. It doesn't take a whole lot. Like Ellie De La Cruz mishits a ball and he can create a run out of nothing. That's where, you could get lucky and steal a couple games here and there. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking up and down this lineup, probably not going to have a lot of success against great pitchers in the postseason. But you never know. They're small, very small series.
They are. I mean, 3-game series are a joke, if we're being completely honest, in a grand scheme of 162 games. I would be, how disappointed would you be if you were, one of the Brewers, right? I mean, I just keep imagining the Brewers having to play the Reds by them sneaking into the postseason and the Reds beat them in a 3-game series. Like, how disgusting would that be if you're a Brewers fan? But hey, that's part of the game. That's why you got to have one of the 2 best records in the National League to not have to worry about that. But listen, to be clear, I know people in the chat probably are wondering what the hell I'm talking about. All I'm trying to say is that at the end of it, are you happy regardless? That's kind of what I'm getting at. I mean, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. I get that we should hope that we're going to make the postseason just to get experience under the belt of all these guys. And if you do make the postseason, you get hot. You never know. But I'm just trying to paint a picture of the happiness of what this season will bring, regardless of the outcome of winning a World Series. Is probably going to be sorrow in some capacity, but. But anyway, moving forward, you didn't get a chance to discuss the Votto to the IL thing. I kind of went on a little bit of a spree about just kind of my thoughts on it. Your overall assessment of the Votto to the IL and what it means.
Yeah, I mean, there clearly was something not right. A stat that I like to use is expected weighted on base average, and it has flaws. Like a guy like TJ Friedel, I think clearly significantly outperforms that stat. But Joey Votto, since the All-Star break, like, it wasn't bad luck. It was just his number was the worst on the team. It was by far. It was really ugly. And so he was clearly dealing with something a little bit more. It's unfortunate, man. It stinks. It stinks. First, it was really cool that Joey Votto came back and really helped give this team a spark and was a huge part of that 12-game win streak. So, like, I hope this isn't the end for Joey Votto, but if it is, I know people are like, oh, what a terrible way to go. I don't know. I mean, he had that moment in that 12-game win streak where he had the 12th game, hit 2 home runs. That was really, really cool. I don't know. I mean, I know Nick Kroll said, we're hoping it's just 10 days rest and he'll be back. Kind of like, yeah, I don't. That seems.
You don't think so? I think that's part of it, Nick. I really do. I mean, obviously, if somebody starts overperforming, then they might try to extend it a little bit longer. But I don't think he's hurt. I don't think he's all that hurt. No, I just think the guy's struggling really, really bad. He's old. He's older. He's basically having to cheat. What my eyes are telling me, and again, this is all entirely speculative. So I don't want this to be like something that Trace knows something or something like that. My eyes tell me, Nick, that he's having to cheat to try to catch up to fastballs that he never had to cheat to catch up to before. 94-mile-an-hour fastballs that are just a little elevated, he's not able to get to unless he's cheating to try to get to it. And what I mean by cheating is he's just assuming that a fastball is coming, and as soon as it's thrown, he's ready to pounce on it. Well, the problem with that is as soon as the league starts to figure out that you're cheating to try to catch up to a fastball, they're just going to start throwing changeups and off-speed pitches that appear like fastballs, and that's why you see these ugly, goofy-looking swings on changeups time and time and time and time again, because he just has to. He has to get himself going a little bit sooner than he ever had to before, and that's just old age. That's just old age. That's all that is. I mean, you can sit here and say that maybe it's the shoulder, this, that, and the other, and I would venture to say that his shoulder, in my opinion, again, this is hugely speculative. It's not all that different than what he had when he first started, when he came back. The difference is that the league adjusted to what he is now, and unfortunately, he's in a tough predicament because he's hitting without the reactionary time that it probably requires to play at the big league level. And we'll see if he's able to kind of reset. Maybe he does have a little bit of a problem in the shoulder, but I don't think we've seen the end of him. I don't. I think Joey Votto is smart enough to say, you know what, I need a little bit of a break. Let me see if I can't rest up a little bit and get ready to go down the end of the stretch. And maybe, Nick, maybe, if we can all say a little prayer, maybe he takes like 10, 15, 20 days off, comes back at the end of September, and he does exactly what he did when he first came back. Because that's the guy that we need.
Yeah, and you could, maybe pick your spots with him too. Maybe you don't have to play him every day.
Maybe, that's a great point too, because right now they have to play him every day.
This guy doesn't have great off-speed stuff. He's probably going to have to throw the fastball to Votto. Let's play him against that guy. Let's play some other guys, others, and you pick and choose your matchups. But one last point is, I just want to make sure we're very clear on this. Joey Votto gave the Reds more this year than we ever could have hoped for. If you were anyone being realistic going into this year, I think there was a lot of people that were very unrealistic. They weren't fair to Joey Votto at all. He's given the Reds way more than they ever could have hoped for this year already. And if by chance this is his last game, I think he went out on an incredible note this year because he outperformed, at least for those first 3, 4, whatever weeks it was, way more than I thought he would. So all the credit in the world to him for coming back from a brutal injury and producing and helping this team get to the point where they're at.
You couldn't have said it any better, man. You couldn't have said it any better. I know that many people, wanted to scream and yell about Joey Votto. He doesn't need to play. He doesn't need to platoon, this, that, and the other. He's a Hall of Famer. Put him in the lineup no matter what. That's just being unrealistic. It's being unrealistic, and it's not fair to Joey. And I would argue the point that you made there towards the end is probably the best point of the night. Joey Votto was put in a position the last 3 weeks that was unfair to Joey Votto. This lineup was thin. That we had injuries. Jake Fraley's out. And it's a situation where he has to play. He has to play against guys he would otherwise never have to face, and it's just exposed him more than you would like to admit. And it got to the point now where the Reds had to make a move. They made a move, and again, I think Trey Mancini was the move. I could be completely off on that. Maybe you could argue Nick Senzel's the answer, this, that, and the other. Trey Mancini, I think, was picked up. They got a guy. They then, at that point, once they got that guy, they were like, okay, we're going to send Trey Mancini down to Louisville, let him get a little bit of, maybe a game or two under his belt, and then we're going to bring him up here, and he's going to be the replacement for Joey Votto until Joey Votto is in a position where we get Jake Fraley back, and at that point, if we have those guys going, then I think we can bring Joey Votto back once rosters expand, Nick, and when rosters expand, I think then you can pick your spots with Joey Votto that seem to make a little more sense. Again, maybe I'm overselling it. Maybe he truly is hurt. I think it's roster manipulation at its finest. I truly believe that. I think they're going to wait until the September call-up situation. Rosters expand. Joey Votto gets to be able to kind of platoon a little bit more. He's a spot starter when it makes the most sense, and we all move on. Joey Votto has another moment in him. I really do believe that. Maybe I'm wrong. I think Joey Votto has another moment in him. That's not the end of Joey Votto's career by any stretch of the imagination. It's just it's actually, in my opinion, it's a smart move by the Cincinnati Reds to make, again, decisions that might not be popular to a fan base, but it should be the right play moving forward. I know Joey Votto has been a legacy player here, but you can't treat him entirely different than you would anybody else to a certain extent if you're trying to make the postseason, and that's what the Reds are trying to do. They're trying to make the postseason. I'm not buying into Votto is done. I'm not buying into it. Now, call me naive. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just and the reason that I feel so strong about this, Nick, is because this isn't the first time, and you can say, oh, well, it's always been a coincidence. This ain't the first time the Reds have used the IL for roster manipulation this year. They've done it time and time again. So, you know what? They're going to continue to do it until they get slapped in the wrist for it, or they're told that they can't do certain things. And it's kind of hard to prove, roster manipulation through an IL stint. So, I guess I'll be proved right or wrong. We'll see. But Joey Votto's career is not over. So don't. I wouldn't go to bed tonight thinking that he's done.
I like it.
All right, some Reds MILB, Nick. Let's hit it hard. Hit it hard in the paint because we need some good news.
Well, we got some good news down at AAA. Louisville, they won 6-5 over Toledo. Bats now 65-56 on the season, and Trey Mancini can't have a much better debut than he did tonight. 3 for 4, 2 home runs and a double. One of his home runs and double came off left-handed pitcher Joey Wentz, who's actually made 17 starts this season for the Detroit Tigers. So not exactly just a scrub AAA guy. This is a guy that has pitched in the big leagues this year. So that is, I think, even a little bit more encouraging. Jose Barrera tonight, 1 for 4 with a double, 2 hard hit balls. Christian Roa pitched pretty well outside of some walks, 5 innings, just 2 runs, 6 strikeouts. TJ Antone continues, I guess, to probably get closer. Another scoreless inning for him tonight. And then Daniel Duarte also had a scoreless inning. Chattanooga, they won 18-0 tonight over Tennessee. That's the Cubs affiliate. So good to see that. Resigns and just continued his great year. 2 for 4. Triple walk, stole a base, 18th of the year. Blake Dunn was 3 for 5. Shout out to James Free. He had 2 home runs tonight. He's got 14 on the year. And then Sam Ben Schuster. I haven't talked about him a lot. 5 shutout innings, just allowed 1 hit, struck out 7. A guy that's had a really bad year, but I know he's a guy the Reds like because they actually sent him to the Fall League last year. So good for him having a big start tonight. And then the Dayton Dragons, they lost 3-2. Not a whole lot going on this one. Edwin Arroyo 0 for 4. Sal Stewart 1 for 4. Carlos Jorge 0 for 4. But Hector Rodriguez in his first at-bat at high A doubled, so good for him. And then the Daytona Tortugas, they lost 2-1. Not a whole lot going on this one as well. Cam Collier 1 for 5. Alan Cerda made his debut. He was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Alan Cerda coming back from injury. They sent him to Daytona. He was actually up at Chattanooga at one point last year. That's your Reds MILB presented by Betfred Sportsbook.
One quick thing here before we get into who, what, when, where, and why. All right, Nick?
My lights are flickering.
You got a tornado coming or what, brother? I mean, hey, listen, if you got to ditch the show for a tornado, I think everyone would understand.
If I cut out, you'll know what happened.
Yeah, I mean, let's all send a prayer for Nick Kirby. Yeah, let's not talk about that. We don't. We got a lot of morbid folks in the chat tonight talking about Joey Votto being absolutely done and washed and all this, and then now Nick Kirby's going to be gone. Here's the thing. The Cubs series is the series, in my opinion. Now, I guess if you could argue that if the Reds were to get swept by the Diamondbacks, that pretty much could finish them. But hey, the Reds only have to win one game in this series to hold the tiebreaker to the Diamondbacks. So to be clear, and again, I'm not suggesting I only want to win one game, Nick, but if they win one game, they do hold the tiebreaker against the Diamondbacks. If they do that, I mean, that's basically, again, that's a 2-game swing. If they split with the Diamondbacks, even better. That's basically like winning the series in my mind. So, they got 3 games left. Tonight didn't go the way we wanted it to, but again, to sit here and think that this is a huge situation that we have to where we're doomed, I don't think so. I think the Cubs series is the series. If you're going to point to one series, I think that's it. You got them at home. You got a chance to right your wrongs from what happened in Wrigley. You got a chance to gain ground on somebody right in front of you that's holding up certainly a spot that in the wild card. And I get the Diamondbacks are right there and the Giants are right there. We have plenty of baseball in front of us to take care of business. But again, you take 3 of 4 from the Cubs, you sweep the Cubs. And I don't know if you looked at the pitching matchup or what the expected pitching matchup is for that series, but it lines up pretty nicely. The Cubs are throwing 3 guys in that stretch of games where that's not 3 of their worst arms, if you will, and the Reds have the 3 of their best guys going. So it lines up appropriately. Hopefully we can get to that series without, absolutely shit in the bed. Sorry, kid show. But if we don't do that and we can get to the Cubs series, I'm telling you, that's the season. Because after the Cubs series, like you said, we don't face that many good arms the rest of the year. I just genuinely think that we're overreacting is a strong word. I don't think that's the case. I just think that we're in a position where we're all frustrated. It's 1:10 in the morning on the East Coast that many of us are up watching the Reds, and you get a big hit from Nick Senzel and Tyler Stevenson, man. You feel like you can't let that go to waste. You don't get that often, You feel like you let one go. But nonetheless, who, what, when, where, and why, and we'll keep it moving.
Yeah, it would have been 4 comeback wins in a row if the Reds had hung on tonight. Jeez.
Can't keep
All
that
right.
up.
Tomorrow, Brandon Pfaadt will be going for the Diamondbacks. His last start was outstanding against the Padres. 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs. Pfaadt faced the Reds. It was the time he rejoined the Diamondbacks rotation for the first time. You might remember that game. Absolutely dominated the Reds. He only allowed 1 hit through the first 5 and a third innings, but then he gave up back-to-back home runs to Friedel, McLean, and Fraley. So capable pitcher, really talented guy out of Louisville. Went to Bellarmine University, top 25 prospect this year. Been up and down. Hopefully the Reds, the second time they saw him, this guy probably hasn't faced a lot of teams twice so far in his career. So hopefully the Reds can be on him and give him put up a couple crooked numbers against him. That'd be awesome to see. And then Hunter Green for the Reds. He was supposed to start on Saturday. Reds moved him up. I think that's also I think it's more because of Brett Kennedy wanting to have an extra arm in the bullpen with the Reds just having that doubleheader. I think they looked at their pitching situation and say, yeah, we need an extra arm. And of course, Brandon Williamson ended up going 6 innings tonight, which changed it. But if Brandon Williamson, for instance, had only gone like 3 innings tonight, I think the Reds would have been in a really dire situation. So I think that's what it is. So it's lining up. It could be Connor Phillips making his big league debut on Saturday, probably Ben Lively. We'll talk more about that a little bit more tomorrow. But Hunter Green, obviously coming off that really bad start. But good news. Number one, Hunter Green's pitched much better on the road this year. He's got a 3.31 ERA in 9 starts on the road, 7.24 at home. So this is a good ballpark for him to pitch in. And his only career start against the Diamondbacks last year, 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. Current Diamondbacks, 2 for 22. That's an 0.91 average with 0 extra base hits against Hunter Green. I'm feeling good. I think Friday night's going to be a good night for the Red Legs.
Oops, sorry about that. I do too, Nick. I really do. I felt disgusted once this game was over because it felt like, this was like a huge momentum win. I know it sounds wild, but I thought if they found a way to win tonight, I think they were going to take 3 or 4 from them. That's kind of what I had in my mind. Now it's like, okay, find a way to split. That'd be great. Again, win 1 game and you got the tiebreaker against Arizona. That's a huge momentum. That's a huge momentum deal there. I do believe if you split against the Cubs, I think you might have the tiebreaker against the Cubs. Don't hold me to that. I definitely know if they take 3 or 4 from the Cubs, but I'm pretty sure if they split with the Cubs, right? If they split with the Cubs,
Reds are 4-3, 4-3 right now. So if they split, yeah.
So they split with the Cubs. They take that series again. That's another 2-game swinger. So we have the ability here to hold tiebreakers over these teams, which is a whole extra game that otherwise, you have to defeat. So I feel good. I feel good. You should feel good too. Let's all get some rest. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll feel good about ourselves. We're going to win a baseball game tomorrow. And one thing, in order for us to win baseball games, I know you guys are down in the dumps, but if you could just hit the like button, that'd be great. Okay, just hit the like button. That'd be great. I'm not gonna make a big deal about it tonight. But I'd love for you to hit the like button. Maybe it's a shtick because I want you to like our streams and keep the show's momentum going. Some would say that's the case, but perhaps you're superstitious and you believe in the fact that if we get some likes on the stream, we have a chance to win tomorrow. A better chance. Just a thought.
Brett Kennedy also could still start on Saturday. I guess I should point that out as well. They may have, since they didn't have to use him tonight, they may just decide to start him on Saturday. They might I think it might have been just to give them more flexibility too. So that was one other point that I meant to mention in that whole Reds switching up the rotation.
Donald says, I'll like the stream if you say David Bell is a bum.
David Bell is a bum in that Friday against the Nationals. Does that count?
I just said it. That's the cool thing, Donald. Do you see what I just did there? That's big brain thinking. I said it. I just said it. Want me to say it again? I'll say it again. Donald C says, I will like the stream if you say David Bell is a bum. See, I just said it again. I said it twice now. So I think that deserves a like.
Wesley asks, what's the Reds' record against the Giants? Reds split the 4-game series, so you take 2 or 3 against the Giants, there's another tiebreaker you just won. So
right. The only tiebreaker we don't have would be the Marlins.
The Marlins are a tie, so that the first tiebreaker is void. It goes to a whole nother thing, which
it's winning percentage in the division, which isn't great, but we'll keep it. We'll see. Let's not worry about that right now.
Yeah, that's a discussion for another day, not at 1:16 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I got some coffee in me. I got to do some more work when I get off of here. Then I got to host a show tomorrow. So, we'll keep it moving. Much love to everybody in the chat, though, man. We got 100+ people in here watching at 1 o'clock in the morning. I know that I know we say this all the time, man, but we love you. We really do. If you haven't already, there's some other shows that are really, really cool. If you're a Bengals fan, every Tuesday night, Kyle Caskey used to be the running backs coach for the Cincinnati Bengals, along with other teams as well in the NFL. I think he coached for 11 years in the NFL, but he does the Chatterbox Clicker on Tuesday nights. He's going to break down some film for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think that's going to be an unbelievable show. If you're a football fan in general, I think you can learn a lot from that show. I don't say this lightly just because he does it for us. I think he does an unbelievable job. He does an unbelievable job, Kyle Caskey does. And if you want to laugh, I'm going to tell you right now, these guys might be the 2 funniest guys in Chatterbox, Chuck and Houdini. You should go give them a shot. It's on all the podcast platforms. You can go check out The Chatter. Just download it. Give it a download. Listen to it. Check it out. It's not just sports. It's kind of sports, and it's got some culture to it. There's some humor involved. It's funny. I think they're funny. I'm telling you right now. And then lastly, Chatterbox Bengals here. Very similar to this show. I think we try to set a trend here. With Chatterbox Reds, we try to set a trend. Chatterbox Bengals, they'll be live after the post-game show on Saturday for that preseason game. And then the big-time stuff happens tomorrow, of course, off the bench. Not with Thom Brennaman. Thom is closer to making, hopefully, an appearance in the studio. We'll see how that goes. But until then, it is me, Daily Show with Trace Fowler, until Tom's back. Thank you as always for people that support us, man. We really do appreciate it. Our channels, our platform in general has risen, and I can't tell you how many guys pour so much time, effort, and energy to put out content that aren't full time. If I had a goal in mind with Chatterbox, and I'm not just saying this because Kirby's here, but I really do mean this. I don't think we're that far away from getting some people some full-time opportunities here. Obviously, advertising dollars are the way that you make that happen. What do advertisers want? They want people to watch the stuff, as many viewers as you can possibly get. We're going to try to do that in a genuine way, though. I don't really want to become a clickbait service. I know that's the way that media goes. I know that's the way that it's kind of drawn up on the chalkboard of how you're supposed to go about running a media company, is just basically try to get a bunch of Skip Baylesses out there and say a bunch of crazy stuff all the time and see if that's the way you can't drum up business. I like to think that if we just continue to hammer home Cincinnati sports and we cover it as well as we possibly can, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that one day we can get some more full-time people on here. Nick Kirby's at the top of that list. So the more you like the streams, the more you spread the word about what we're doing. I know it's not just about making money. And really, I don't ever expect to get super wealthy off of this in the first place anyways, but I would love to try to give some people an opportunity to do this full time, because at the end of the day, if Nick Kirby can do this good of a job with another job, I'd love to see what he could do if this was just basically the main thing that he did. And I think that you'd be happy about that too. So spread the word. Tell Nick is not an intern. He's more or less kind of a part-timer. So it's my point is, if you spread the word, it means a lot to us. Okay, I know that kind of may seem like a shtick. It might seem like, it's not that important to like the stream. It's not that important to help us grow. Ultimately, at the end of the day, if you really want us to continue to have a show and do well, we really do appreciate you spreading the word. Nick, I got some wireless headphones, though. I don't know if you've seen that. I'm feeling good.
Those are sharp. Those are sharp.
I'll tell you what. Listen, there's one thing advice before you go to bed tonight, and I think we're gonna wrap the show up. I got some advice for everybody in life. If you do something religiously, like I put headphones on religiously all the time, all day long, if you watch TV all the time, if you're on your computer all the time, I'm telling you, there's one thing that I wish I learned earlier in my life. Now, I get it. Sometimes it costs a little bit extra money. Get the best of the best for that thing. Get the best of the best for that thing. These headphones, I'm telling you right now, no free ads. These are the best headphones I've ever put on in my life. Costs $100 more than I'd like to spend, but that's the best $100 I've spent in about 2 years. I'll be honest with you. So take that advice for what it's worth. Nick, I'm glad you're on here, and I'm also glad that you're alive.
I'm glad to be alive too.
All right. All right, everybody. Go ahead, Nick.
Seriously, check out the chatter. That story about the farm. I was listening to that I was driving around for work today. That was hilarious. The chatter. I'll put it up one more time. These guys are killing it. Not enough. They have their own YouTube channel, right?
No. They basically are just in podcast form right now, and then at some point, I think that they are going to start putting some stuff out on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. I found it. It's on YouTube.
All right. Well, even better. See how much I know about my own thing? I mean, great. Nick's breaking news to me.
But check out. It's really, really, really good podcast. I really enjoyed it. Good stuff.
Love that. All right, guys. This has been Chatterbox Reds, late night edition as always. It is August 25th. They play a baseball game today. The Cincinnati Reds do. Hopefully we can find a way to win today, and we'll keep it moving. But as always, thank you for watching this show, and much love to you. I think at some point, like I said before, I'm going to find a way to get the outro music going. But do us a favor, if you've not already, go like the stream, go download, rate, and review Chatterbox Reds. We love y'all. Take care of yourselves. As always, go Reds. Future's bright, baby. The future is bright. Go to bed tonight and tell yourself the future's bright, because it is. Take care, everybody.